All right, so we'll jump in. Ron Douglas, Webinar Con. We're here today to talk about the latest trends for. All right, so we'll jump in. Ron Douglas, Webinar Con. We're here today to talk about the latest trends for getting your emails delivered, inboxing, and the mandates that are coming up in February that everybody needs to be compliant with, and a few things you need to do. Seem very technical at first, but it's not that difficult. Like once you've actually gone through it, like, oh, that wasn't a big deal at all, but it just needs to be done. And it's for a good purpose, right? If we are compliant with what they're asking, and if the people that are doing email marketing wrong, right, the people that are not compliant, the spammers out there, the people that aren't paying attention, if they get sent to the spam box and our emails get through, well, that's good for us, right? That makes our efforts even better for what we're trying to do. So I have so when I think of email experts, besides Chuck Mulaney, Damian Rufus is the guy that comes to my mind. He's been doing behind the scenes. He sends out millions of emails. He does it for clients. He manages different lists. He's the guy sending emails behind some of the biggest lists out there, different niches as well. And he's just a real certified technical guy when it comes to all this type of stuff. So he was the guy that came to mind. Plus, he's a good friend of mine. I've known him, I don't know, man, over 10 years at least, maybe going back to like 2009 or something.
Yep. 2009.
Yeah. So really good guy, really smart guy. So thought I'd bring him on. I'll let him introduce himself and hit some of the other highlights. But it's just an honor to have you on. Thanks, Damien. And I'll turn it over to you. You have something you want to share with your screen, or?
No, I won't say anything yet until we get into it. But what's up, people? Damian Rufus. Been around this game for a little bit. I send a ton of emails every month, and this is one of those things where people thought that somebody else would take care of it for them, or it would just resolve itself, or Google would push it, or the ESPs would push it back again because they pushed the date a couple times actually. But it's like when your dad tells you to take out the trash and it's 12 o'clock the night before, and he goes and gets you out of your room to take out the trash. That day is here, so it's time to do the work.
Yeah, for sure. So can you kind of walk us through what needs to be done? We'll do that, and then we'll jump into some best practices for getting your emails delivered and all that type of stuff.
Sure. So it's real simple. They're asking you to. All they're really asking is to you to prove that you're the one who's sending the email, that you own the domain, and that it's coming from you and not from anybody else. Let me pull up this. One of my favorite tools, or the easiest tools, to pull this information from is MX Toolbox. So if you guys aren't familiar, basically this pulls all of your records from your domain, MX. Let me pull this one up. Can you guys see that?
Yep.
Sure. Yeah. All right. So I just pulled up one of our domains, startwithsimple.com. So this tool, it looks up all the information around your domain, right? So you see, I have this DMARC record published. My policy is here, and then the DNS record is also published. So pretty much, I'm good to go with this domain with just these 3 check marks. This is another check you guys want to do. We'll talk about that a little later.
Can you put that link in the chat?
Oh, sure. Do that. And
MXToolbox.com.
Right. So. Check. There you go. So come here, pop your domain in. The first thing you'll see is this MX checker. Just pop that in there. Whoops. Very simple. But then what you want to do, once it does that, come to this drop down here. And go into, first you want to do DMARC lookup. Okay. Anybody have a domain that you're unsure of? If you have these things, go ahead, pop it in the chat. and we'll just do yours right here on the call.
Do webinarcon.com.
All right, let's see if Ron is well, you just said you just did this, so so DMARC's good. This DMARC policy is not enabled. Okay, so with this, it's okay right now. You can set it to none, which is this P record right here, the policy. So you see where Ron has P equals none. This does this for you when you just put in your domain, it creates this record for you. But this P none, the policy to apply email that fails the DMARC test, you can have these three: none, quarantine, or reject. Okay. So none is okay for right now to get you through what they're asking you to do, most of the ESPs. But what is coming, and I promise you, like I'm shouting it out to the universe right now. There's this little line that Google put in this topic is called BIMI, brand indicator, something. But they had them there when they're explaining it. It says emerging email standard. And people like when Google puts that, like it's kind of like the government putting all this stuff up in a place where you don't really read, or you don't read the terms and conditions most times. They have it there, it says emerging email standard. And to me, that means that this is coming. This is what we're working on. This is probably what you should be working on too. But when that comes, it's going to be, we'll talk about that later. It's going to be crazy because you got to do a lot of stuff, spend a lot of money to make that happen. But when
what is it exactly? I'm not clear on what it is.
So what
It's coming.
Let me pull it up. Let me pull it up for you guys. So basically it's brand indicators for messaging identifiers. So it's like the blue check mark on Facebook, but for emails. Okay.
So they're gonna charge us?
Well, I mean, they're really gonna charge you. Here's the kicker, right? So what they want to do, they want to verify that your brand is your brand. So you need to get this verified mark certificate. And you can only get this certificate from two places, only two companies in the whole world that Google accepts this VMC from. There's only two places. One place is charging you $1,500 a year. The other place charges you, it's like $1,300, $1,200 and some change. So you have to go and get one of those. You have to get a VMC from one of those companies. But with the there's a couple things that you have to do. But here's what you should be looking at right here. BIMI is an emerging standard and still in development. Okay. This means it's coming. Right? So in order to get a VMC, you have to have a trademark company. You have to be your company has to be a LLC or a corporation. You have to send it in to get it trademarked. And then once you get all that done, and this is a process, right? That takes, you can't go get a trademark tomorrow.
Right.
Like this is like a year-long, 18-month, 20-month process of getting your company trademarked. But you can't get your VMC until you get that, and you can't get your BIMI until you get your VMC.
I can't imagine that they're going to make this mandatory for everybody. Maybe this is something that's just going to be like for next level inboxing or big companies or something that you want to do, but not necessarily. Because how are they going to make everybody get a trademark? That sounds crazy.
Listen, man. All I can say is this says an emerging standard for email. Okay. Yeah. A standard. Like they're going to require everyone to have this. Maybe they loosen up the VMC thing, or maybe or that, find a way to work around that. But right now, in order to get a BIMI, you have to have your VMC, and the only way you can get your VMC is if you have a trademark company.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's coming. Well, let's talk about so what did I do wrong on that thing? What do I have to add to it? Because I followed the instructions.
You don't have to add anything right now. But the only difference here is you would change this P instead of saying none in the record, you would change it to quarantine, and that'd be good enough.
Quarantine. Okay. So I have to make a separate CNAME
Nope.
record for that?
Nope. You go right into this text record that you just set for this.
Oh, just edit the existing one.
Just edit this and put quarantine here.
Ah, okay.
That's all you gotta do.
Because I didn't make that line of code up. I just copied and pasted.
Right, they gave it to you.
Yeah.
But they asked it when you created it. They asked you a few questions. It's a couple check boxes, and then if you didn't check it, it gave you none.
Gotcha.
So that's the only thing you need to change there.
So can you walk us through an example of the? I don't know how many people here want to do this themselves. It's probably you probably could take these CNAME records and just give it to your host and say add these, right? Or give it to your
no, they're
email.
gonna make you do the work for sure.
Yeah.
They're gonna make you do the work. This isn't something that they're gonna fix for you. But they definitely are going to make you do the work. Yeah, I can share this real quick.
Yeah, so I just did it right in cPanel, the DNS editor.
Yeah, so it depends on where your DNS is, right? So a lot of people don't have hosting outside of wherever they're bought their domain name. So for let's just say GoDaddy, for example, a lot of people just grab WordPress hosting and GoDaddy, right? So all your DNS records are there. So you can edit your DNS records inside of GoDaddy directly. You can, if you have hosting, if you have a cPanel or you have a cPanel, and you transferred your DNS to the cPanel, you would edit your DNS there. Right?
Okay, so it depends on where your name servers are pointed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You got to edit it at that place. Okay.
Yep. So I have my own server. I have my own email servers. So I don't keep my DNS app. I bought all my domain names through Namecheap. I don't keep them there. I point them to whatever name server or the service that I'm posting to. So let's check this one out real quick, Ron. They put it in there. They're pretty good. As far as DMARC goes, let's look up SPF records, because that's a good one. They're good to go there with SPF. And DKM. Well, no. Pretty much they're good to go with DMARC and SPF. So you shouldn't have any issues, Carson, with your emails. Let's see.
This is for Gmail said it's for bulk senders that send more than 5,000 emails in a day.
Yeah.
Right. So say for instance, if I'm sending say for instance, someone buys my product on my website directly, and I'm using a software like a CMS, and it sends them a login right from the website. Does that website also need to do some type of special registration if it's not sending, 5,000? I don't think I'm getting 5,000 customers a day.
Yeah, for sure. So whatever domain you're sending from, because you'll go in and set up inside of WordPress, you'll go in and set up your sending domains. But that domain that you're sending from needs to have these records on the domain. So it all starts with your DNS.
Gotcha. Okay.
So let's look up. So SPF isn't good on that one. Need to fix that. DMARC. Definitely need to fix that. Let's look up DCAM.
So I set up these the DMARC records, and now I'm getting these emails saying DMARC notification, and they're coming from like Yahoo and AOL and Gmail.
Yeah. So I don't necessarily, because I know like I'm good. Like whose email is this? Barbara. You're not gonna be able to send from this domain. You don't have any of this set up. So that's just a heads up for you.
All right, so let's help her. Let's walk us through like what would she need to do to get
All
that
right.
set up.
Barbara, where did you purchase your domain? Actually, hang on a second. Let me pull this up. Um, this is another kind of site I use to pull up info on domains. So I'll put this in the chat too, but let me paste that one in there. This is where you can check all of the domain DNS records all at once. Then chat. And then just leave this as like Google. You don't need to change the server or anything. But look up DNS. Is that the right domain? Oh no, forgot that. I was like, whoa, what's happening? Look up DNS. So this one's in Cloudflare. So this person would need to get into Cloudflare in order to edit their DNS.
Gotcha.
That's also called. Let's look up Barbara's thing real quick.
Cloudflare is like a hosting company.
Yeah, it kind of well, how do you best describe? It's like it's a service that monitors traffic to your domain, right? So if you're getting like if you're having like a DDoS attack or something, like it can stop that.
Oh, right.
Or
Gotcha.
cut off
Gotcha.
that
Yeah,
traffic,
I've seen
You know
that.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So you don't go down. They have free service and paid service. So, okay, so you're at worldinc.com is where your hosting is. Let's see if that pops up. Or network solutions. So we would need to log into network solutions in order to change your DNS to fix this stuff. So let's go here. Let's go to Mark. Let's put this. I'm gonna just create this for you over here. I'm gonna create this inside of here real quick. Just gotta move this stuff around. Hang on 1 second, guys.
So these emails I'm getting from these DMARC notices, do I have to do it? You know, they come weird, like it has an attachment. I was at first afraid to open it, but then I kept getting it from Gmail and Yahoo. I'm like, is this someone trying to hack me?
No, normally, so when I'll show you this when I create hers real quick. Share my screen again.
Is there anything I need to do with these email notifications that keep coming?
Nope.
Okay.
They're just letting you know. I'm gonna put both of these in here. These are free tools to create your DMARC and SPF. Like that one person needed to create their SPF. AVL media solutions. So we're gonna create your SPF record. So these are those questions, Ryan. Do you send email from your web server? Do you send from the same server? Probably do, don't need to do. And then how strict do you need this to be? Just leave that blank. So these are the SPF records that you need to create inside of network solutions in your DNS. So you're gonna create a text record. You're gonna put this as the host name, and then you're gonna put this as the value.
Gotcha.
Let's go ahead and create your.
Could you show what that would look like, or where you would do it? And do you have like a sample cPanel?
Yeah, let me log into one of them. Let's create this record too while we're here. So this would be your DKIM record. So normally, Ron, you put your email address here.
Yeah.
To get these notifications. I just leave it there. They can have it. They can keep it. I don't want those emails. I don't really need them. Because I know I should be good. Nobody should be sending from my domain. So I just kind of leave it there.
So there's two separate things, right? So if you're sending from your domain, even like login emails, you need to have this set up. But you also need a separate group of DMARC and all that stuff set up. Well, not DMARC, but the other ones set up. If you're using like a autoresponder service, you need a separate group of information set up for your autoresponder. It indicates that those emails are cool too.
Correct. So because you're sending emails from, most people don't have a dedicated server with their autoresponder, like Mailgun, Keep, Active Campaign. You're just using a shared server with everybody on there. So you have to give that server permission to send from your domain. So they'll give you a list of records to change, to add to your DNS. I can show you an example of that too. So these are the keys that somewhere, I don't know where it is in Active Campaign, I haven't used them in a long time. But see how like for this URL, AZ Business Insider, I need to say, hey, yes, Keep can email from these, from this domain, and set up these keys to allow them to email. All right, so this is what the backend of your WHM panel will look like. Most people won't have this, but it looks something like this, right? You'll have your SPF records, your DCAM, DMARC, all that stuff will be here for every domain key that's here, kind of what we just showed you. But you would add this record here. So for example, I would go here and press add record, but I need the record to be a text record. It'll say type. And again, this configuration right here is gonna look different across across every place you log into. They all do it different. So this type may be over here and it is over here in GoDaddy. And then the zone name would be next. TTL is like last. But basically, this is the same. You'll be doing CNAME records for this and text records for this. So just choose one of those two. And then the values, so it says type, the value is the host name, or in this case, the value zone name equals host name. It's the same thing. And then the value, that's where people get confused. The value is what actually goes into the record.
Right. So all you do is paste it in there and save record, and then it's in there. And then you can go back and test to see, use that tool to test to see if if you've done it right.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's it. I mean, it's not difficult. It's just everybody has a different way of laying out the information. So you just got to make sure you copy and paste it in the right place.
Yeah. So your host should point you in the right direction as to how to access it at least. I mean, my host, I have a dedicated server, for Aweber, I did it myself. Like I added the CNAME records, but for the host, I wasn't sure what to put for my own server.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and sometimes you have to put, depending on the place, you have to put the whole domain name, or you'll have to put like just the @ Oh, look at that. You have to just do the @ symbol, which means it's the same thing as your domain name. So either one works.
Gotcha.
Either works. So it's a whole lot of copying and pasting. You just got to put it in the right place.
So your autoresponder service has instructions on what lines of code to add there. And so you do that, and then your server, or if you're sending from your own site, your host should have the instructions on what exact lines to add. But you just have to make sure you added those lines, like
Correct.
the name server, the records, and the DMARC.
Yeah. For your TTL, go just set it to. Oops. Let me edit this. I put it in the chat. I'll delete that real quick. It goes 600. Set it to 600. Like you might be able to. It'll give you it'll say like an hour, 2 hours, 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever. Just set it to 600 because that's the fastest like refresh rate that it will do across the internet. So just set it to 600.
So as an example, here's a link from Aweber, the one I use. I'll post it in the chat where they walk you through all this stuff. Maybe we can pull that up on the screen right quick.
Yeah.
And so pretty much they give you what to add. So they have a 3-step checklist. Well, the other thing is, the first thing they say is like, you can't be sending emails from a Gmail or a free email account. You have to have your own domain name, which you should have had anyway, right?
Right.
But that's the first thing. So I was telling some of my students that you could just go to Namecheap and buy a domain name and get an email account for that domain name. You know, even if you're not hosting it anywhere, they'll host it for you. I think it's like a $1 a month or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the next, so that's the first step. The second step is you gotta we'll scroll down a little bit. 3-step checklist. So you gotta authenticate your emails with the custom DKIM. And if you they give you the records, so your autoresponder is going to give you the records that you have to add. So where he says show me how, that link right next to show me how, yeah, click that. And then for Aweber, if you scroll down, they'll give you the exact thing to add to your as a record. Add 3 CNAME records. There it goes.
Yeah, so you guys saw that when I logged in or inside of Keep, right? Like this is the same thing. It just looks actually looks the same. So
yeah, you just copy that in. They give you the name, they give you the value, and you can leave the default TTL.
Yeah.
Once you have those records, you just could verify it using a tool that Damien mentioned, or that verified record down below. Actually, they have a thing with Aweber. When you log in, you can verify it right from your list, the list that you have, and the email that's associated with that list. They let you verify it within your Aweber account, or within your autoresponder account. They should have something set up for you to verify. Well, or you can use that tool you mentioned
here. Run with the TTL. That set this to 600. TL says like default. So you'd be like, oh man, I'm waiting like all day for my record to verify, right? And so if you change this, it'll verify more quickly. So if you don't see 600 as a number, it'll say custom. Like when you do this, there'll be a drop down. So just type in custom and then put in 600.
Okay.
So you don't have
and then if you go back to that page, the third step, after you've done that, is set up the DMARC policy. So that's a text line that you add.
This one. So if you come here, the link that we put or that I put in chat, and put your domain name here, it'll do this. It'll create this for you, and you just copy and paste from here.
Right. So the DMARC, what that does is it tells the email service providers that this email came directly from you and wasn't altered along the way. So it's kind of like their way of verifying that the email was not changed along the way and it's legit and it wasn't hacked or anything like that.
Yep.
It came directly from you or from your autoresponder service.
That is correct.
Yeah.
I don't have an autoresponder. That's okay, Barbara. You don't need an autoresponder. You just need to set that up in your DNS. Yeah. But it's gonna, so it's crazy because like they say bulk senders, and they put that number at 5,000. But they're not gonna know if you're a bulk sender or not for a while. So everybody falls into the bulk sender space, and this is just what I think is happening. Everybody's gonna fall into the bulk sender space until they figure it out, until they have the numbers, right? So I have, like I was sending from a smaller list about 2 weeks ago, and I got, as soon as it went out, I started getting these emails. Your email can be delivered. Email can be delivered. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. And it was because I hadn't set up these records for that domain. And so when I say like they started testing, or this thing is been in place for the last 2 months, maybe 3 months already, they've been slowly, dripping it out. And so I got hit with it on that domain. So just make the changes today. Just go do it. Takes like 10 minutes.
Yeah, the main thing is just figuring out where to put it, but it's just really copy and paste, like figuring out what to copy and paste and where to put it. So it's not like technical where you have to code anything or you have to figure something out. It's just like figuring out where to copy and paste and press enter is the main thing. If you can't figure it out, Damien will do it for you for what are you charging, $5,000 a pop?
Yeah, listen. Today's on the first. I'm definitely gonna have that that meme that says, today's price was not yesterday's price, because yesterday's price anybody can go through, but today's price, people are figuring out they can't mail, so the price got to go up February 1st.
Right. All right, cool. So let's talk about some, what do you see as email marketing trends going into, in this year already? And what's the best practices for getting your emails delivered and getting the most from your email marketing?
Yeah, so it's all going to come down to engagement. I think the days of emailing people who haven't engaged with you, your list, for more than 30 days, or let's say max 45 days, I think those days are over. Like, we have two kind of thoughts, right? It's either like churn and burn, like just keep mailing them until they get off your list, or nurture that list. I think you're going to have to nurture those people, but more importantly, you're going to have to clean your list more often. Like, you should have some sort of automated way to do it. It should be happening like monthly. Like, I have a couple of campaigns and workflows in Keep and High Level that it automatically cycles people based on engagement, like every day, right? So it'd be 0 to 7 days, 0 to 14 days, 0 to 30 days, 0 to 60 days, 0 to 90 days. So it's constantly cycling people through and taking the people off, so I don't have to worry about it. I'm not emailing those people. I'll still email them, but I'll email them with like a subdomain or some other domain that I'm not worried about. I'm not mailing them from my main domain. I'm just mailing them from stuff that I can, or a place where I can quickly replace if need be. But you have to get those people off your list. Like, domain, oh my gosh, not domain health, but domain reputation is going to be huge in 2024.
So if people haven't open or engaged?
Engaged. So open. Okay, let's talk about open rates real quick. Open rates in a autoresponder like Aweber, ActCampaign, Keep, whatever. Like, those rates that they give you aren't true metrics. Okay, so here's how it works. Keep sends out an email. it hits Gmail. Gmail opens that email, right? Before it gets to your inbox, opens it, sends a indication back to Keep that says, oh yeah, this email has been opened, but it hasn't been opened by the person, right? So when we talk about engagement, we're talking about a person clicked on a link or the person replied to the email.
So if that's the case, how do they determine which emails? Like, so how does Gmail know which emails to open and which not? Because like open rates be like, 24, 30%. Like, how do they know if they're just sending signals?
Let me show you guys this real quick. It's just not a valid metric. Rate metric. Um, let's see. So they can I'll put this in, and this is for everybody. They're just the ones that said it, right? I'll put this article in there in case you guys can read it. So deliverability versus open, it's like two different things. They can report on delivery rate, right? But as far as like open rate, it's not a real metric. That's all I could say.
Gotcha. Because they're blocking the signal, the pixel that sends the open rate, right? Gotcha. But click rates are still legit.
Yeah, for sure. And that like for the past 2 years, that's been the metric that, I could say, oh, I have, 85% open rate. Like, who cares? Like, I care about if people click through what I'm offering them in the email, right? I do want to know that's where I'm pulling my primary like engagement from. Like, or if they email, like I'll in every welcome sequence, whenever somebody comes in, I have them reply to that email. I'll have a question in there. Hey, now we can talk to each other, right? It's better than telling them, hey, make sure you go ahead and whitelist my email. You got to go here, click this. Like, they don't know how to do all that stuff, and they're not going to do all that stuff for you, right? So just have them hit reply. That's what I do.
So that's a good reason to incentivize them to hit reply on the first email.
Like if you have, depending on what you're offering, right? If you have, like an extra bonus or whatever that thing, give them something to do it. Maybe it's a video you recorded or something else, and with AI now, that's so easy. Love it. But just send them something for taking that first step, like an add-on to whatever you sent them.
Gotcha.
It's the easiest.
So you're saying anybody that hasn't engaged within the last 60 days, get them off the list or put them on a separate list for a domain you don't care about?
Correct.
Why 60 though?
You're gonna get hurt. Like, because they tell you like 30 days is the engagement
30
rate.
days.
They tell you 30 days. And it's like, well, don't you mean like 45? But I pay for these people, so I want to email them till 90. Go ahead. Do you, boo? But I'm gonna tell you, it's not going in the inbox.
Gotcha. So you gotta clean your list.
Gotta clean it. A tool that I use for that, Clean 13, it's a little expensive. But they have a direct integration with a lot of the Keep, especially. But you can integrate them with people better. But list wise is always good too. You just have to export the list, clean it, and then re-import the list, which is like hard sometimes. But for me, what sucks is like the people with the smaller list. This is gonna hurt them the worst, right? Because the numbers aren't in your favor. So if you have a list of 1,000 people, and then you're only getting 1% engagement, that's not good. for you as an emailer. But if I have a list of, 600,000, like my 1% is way better than your 1%. You know what I mean? It's just like I can take for the number of people on the list, number of emails, I could take a bigger hit than a person with a smaller list can.
But someone with a smaller list is likely to have a higher level of engagement.
They should, right?
The larger your list grows, the more people aren't paying attention.
Yeah, because you have all sorts of different people. Which now we go into about segmentation. Let's talk about segmentation for 24. You have to segment your list, people. Like you can't send the same email to everybody on your list. Like you can't do it. You have to segment them. I don't care if the segmentation is, male versus female. Like that's the only thing you're doing, right? Like talk to the people, who they are and where they're at. So you have to segment them as much as you can. Maybe it's a buyer versus non-buyer, right? That should be a segmentation. It should be, these are the products that they bought. Each of those is a segment, right? It should be, they attended or they attended 2 webinars versus 10 webinars. That could be a segment. But you do have to segment your list, folks. That'll help you tremendously.
So segment it, well, based on tags from what they signed up for. But what if you have an email that does apply to everybody? Just send it separately, group it out and send it separately?
You're saying that person is on like every list, they bought everything?
No, you say, you have a list of people that bought product A and a separate list of people that bought product B and a separate list of people that bought product C. But then you're having a live summit that applies to all of those folks where you're going to be teaching.
Like that's
and
okay.
They're all interested in it. That's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. But because you're not going to be emailing those people like every single day about all the different things, right? Like that's like a special like 7-day or however long that campaign is. Like that's you can do that. But what I would do on that campaign is put a little link. Hey, not interested about hearing about this summit? Click this link. Instead of you're not going to have like an unsubscribe link. It's going to be like click here. That way it tags them and segment them out of all the future emails about that summit, right? But you're not getting hit when they don't open or they say, hey, I told, I didn't want to hear about this anyway. And they hit unsubscribe. Like you want to have that link that will segment them out of that campaign.
So just in terms of sending the emails itself, say you have, 3 separate lists in your account, product A, product B, product C. Is it best to send 3 separate emails to each one, or can you combine them into one broadcast that goes out to all 3 lists?
I would say it depends on the offer, right? You can, but I would segment it.
Okay, so you would send out 3 separate emails, one to each, even if it's the same email.
Yeah. And sometimes Yahoo gets a little wonky. AOL gets wonky. All this. I try not to email the people with AOL email addresses. And Comcast sometimes too. Like they're horrible. But like on big emails, I'm definitely pulling out AOLs. I'm definitely segmenting Yahoo and Comcast. Like I'm just not putting them like on my main domain. I'm not doing that.
So you take out those 3, AOL, Yahoo, and Comcast, and you don't. So you send it from a separate domain.
Separate domain, one that I don't care.
But Gmail is fine.
Yeah, Gmail, MSN. Most times, you do get a little. We had a hiccup with them last year, but we, as in everybody, you may have not noticed it, but there's a little. They changed the policy. And basically, your spam complaint rate went from like less than 1% to like 30%, which is crazy.
So the other thing is, so you're sending from your own server, your own domain. Now,
So my
All
own
the stuff you're
service.
just saying, if you're using an autoresponder, like separate third-party service or server, do these rules still apply? Like all the stuff you're saying, take out the
It was
AOL.
worse, right? It's worse because a lot of people don't have dedicated IP addresses. They don't buy dedicated IP addresses at their autoresponder, right? So let's say you're at an active campaign and you're on a shared server, shared IP. Everybody who emails from that IP address um, falls under the same. So you can get blacklisted for something else somebody else did,
Mm.
right?
But they take care of the blacklist stuff, though, right? They reach back out and say, and clean it up
Yeah.
eventually.
But eventually, I mean, this is your domain. You know what I mean? So it's like, how important is that to you? Do you want somebody else cleaning it up for you? Or like for me, if I stop emailing for a day, like that significantly like impacts my bottom line, right? So like I can't have somebody else in charge of that.
Right.
Like
Gotcha.
I got to be able to make them. You know what I mean? But if you're like emailing, once a month and it doesn't really matter, then and they can take all the time to fix the thing for you, then it's nothing wrong with that.
So emailing from your own server has its own benefits. You have a dedicated server. You're the only one emailing from that server. Don't you also
Yep.
have to deal with the complaints and blacklists?
Yep, you got to do all that yourself. But again, like some people can let other people take care. I can't do that. I can't do that. I email too much. I got to be on top of it.
Gotcha. All right. So what else do you see trends with email marketing, and what about anything? What's best practices when they're signing up, tagging, and all that type of stuff? Does that
Sure.
impact deliverability?
Yeah, we talked about segmentation, right? So as soon as they come in, they should be tagged, segmented, based on how you mail. So up front, I would tag them as to where they need to be, where they came from, at least that, right? So that's super important. I think the talk is around IP addresses are going to be less of a or have less of an impact than domain reputation. So stay on top of if you're seeing your spam complaints go up, your unsubscribe complaints or your unsubscribes go up. Pay close attention to that. They don't want you to be over 0.01%. So just watch that. That's why I'm saying the smaller list. Like if you have 100 people, spam complaint, you hit 10%, like you're pretty much done. So just watch that. And then really pull your people off after. I'm not saying get rid of the emails, okay? Like I'm not saying you have to delete the email. You can do whatever, do something else with them, like upload them to like custom audience or something on Facebook. Or
Yeah, you can retarget them.
target them that way or something. But I would try to get as much information from the person that I can so I can hit them omni-channel, right? Like get their address and send them direct mail. Like have them, that's a way to get them to opt back in to the email list, right? And it doesn't cost that much. Like I got to do that. Dope Marketing will send out those postcards for you for like super cheap. Just with something, hey, we got a special offer for you. Go to this URL and turn your name and email. That's engagement. That gets them back on your list. Like, do that.
Yeah, with webinars, you definitely should be trying to get the cell phone number too, maybe as a step 2 of the registration to send updates to them. But just to have the cell phone number, just gives you so much power to be able to contact them SMS. You got to get their permission though, but if you have that, it's such a higher quality lead because it enables you to do both email and SMS when something comes up.
Yeah, and A2P is the thing for text messaging as to this DKIM stuff is for email, right? Like, so with phone numbers and stuff, we got stuff happening on that side too, right? In order to talk to people, so you see, like, it's clamping down, like, on every mode that on how we market, right? Like, everything is like getting more strict. So, and it may not be your fault, but it's the fault of all the people who are sending those text messages. They got your list, your phone number from some site online that gave them a million numbers, and they're spamming. Like, these, people don't want to get that. So send them the stuff that they want.
They're
And then
cracking down on spam, privacy stuff. But that's good for us, though, right? The people that are following the rules, that get rid of all the spammers. Like, there'd be more room in the inbox.
Yes, I would love that. I would love that. I'll be like, I'm submitting email. Hey, man, as soon as I see a spam, I submitted to spam. Like, I'm not letting that stuff. I'm not deleting it. Like, I'm not letting that stuff go. Like, I'm the one hitting the spam. Like, my daughter will tell you that. I'm the first one to call the cops in the neighborhood when I see something wrong, and I do the same thing in email. Hey, man, hey, somebody call this guy. Get this guy out of here.
This is funny. Inbox snitching over here.
Yeah, over all of it.
So let's if you guys have any questions, enter it in the chat here. Bob has one. I email to businesses. I try not to send personal emails, but sometimes that happens, of course. Any other wrinkles that would affect me? So you're doing unsolicited emails one by one to businesses, or are you buying lists, or what exactly are you asking? I'm not clear on that one.
Explain that real quick. What's a good standard click rate to push towards? 100% is is the goal. You want them to click on everything. But for me, if I see like 15 to 20%, like, that's gold. So,
all right.
But on a smaller list, maybe like 30%.
All right. Let's see. What else you guys got? Any questions? Anybody want to come on live and say anything? Chuck, you got any words of wisdom for us regarding this topic?
Yeah. Did I miss anything, Chuck?
Not a damn thing. You did a great job, man. Seriously, that was really good. I know one thing. I don't know what's going on with the light. I really feel for you with having to describe how to do that stuff with DNS. It's such a pain in the ass because everybody's different. Namecheap, GoDaddy, server, all that crap. As soon as you started to say that, I was like, ugh, that hurts. Yeah. I hate that spot. But everything was right on. I didn't see any problems. Ron, I'm going to be repeating inbox snitch for years now. That was hilarious. But no, everything was right on. But the thing was about the announcement, and what most were freaking out about was like the authentication. But I'm telling you, the one that's scaring me is that complaint number.
Yeah, right.
We're building another platform. You know me, I'm a platform guy, and I can make them put authentication in, but I don't know their relationships with their lists. Have it or they don't. It's not as simple as opens and clicks.
Yeah.
But no, I think you're right on the money, and everything you said, I agree with. I can't think of anything else, but yeah, engagements are a new world. It's where we are. I do miss the Wild West.
I mean, you send emails to anybody, and it doesn't matter.
It'll clear the market out a little bit for us, clear the herd. Anyway, no, great job, man.
So what are your thoughts on using a private server versus using an autoresponder service like a Keep or Aweber?
I'm exactly with Damien on it, but I don't think that most of our target market or my target market is good for that, because it just comes with a bunch of complicated crap that they don't need to make money. Being having their hand held by ActiveCampaign, Aweber is a little bit better for them. But yeah, I totally agree. I need total control. I'm exactly like Damien. There's no way I could do it and just allow them to decide what happens. I need total control. But yeah, it comes with some crap. So I think most people don't need that.
With these platforms like Hello, for example, a lot of these people are going in building these SaaS, putting people under their account, right? And they're let me see what this email says. There's first being nice about stopping people when they are mailing new lists, and that's another issue, right? Bringing a new list onto another platform. They're sending out, hey, we stopped this person from sending because first of all, they probably didn't set up. Everybody's using their Lead Connect thing, like their server. So they stopped them from sending. They need to now put in email verification, which they have on the platform, but it charges you per email verification. So like all the stuff that I'm doing, and I'm getting, wholesale rates for, now you're paying retail for, and it's pennies, but like but you're having to, you see the dollar stacking up, and it's like, wait a minute, why why am I paying this? And so that's the trade-off with the hand holding, right? You pay more on this side, but a lot of it's going to be done for you. But on this side, you gotta do everything. So
The shared IP pool is a help too.
yeah.
I mean, because the way I see it, it was interesting when you were talking about how it's sort of pulling away from the reputation on the IP address. And I'm with you on that. Sending domain has become progressively so much more important, even prior to this. Regarding Gmail, which is really mostly what matters now, because they own the market. But I think that a lot of it's just going to bleed over to the IPs over
sure.
time. And so the shared IP pools are massive. Having your own IP and mailing small is not a good thing. It's not like it's terrible, but it's scary. A shared IP pool with other mailers on it that are doing well, or just so much more mail volume is helpful generally. But yeah, domain names, man, sending domain reputation is everything at Gmail right now, and it's scary. So you have to stand.
So Damien made the point that you have to have someone engaged with you within the last 30 days or so. So wouldn't it be a benefit if you're mailing more often? Because wouldn't it say, okay, give more opportunities for them to engage if you're consistently mailing every day?
Yeah, like most of this, it's a balancing act, because yes, I totally agree with that. But then on the other hand, it's about engagement. You piss them off, we get a new problem. So it's just constantly like this. But mailing once a week or once a month, it doesn't necessarily mean it's a good thing.
Gotcha.
But yeah, the shared IP pool comes into play there, and I think that's helpful. I think you're sending domains safe if you're mailing once a week, once a month, whatever. But an engagement, they're not going to be mad at you, but you're going to run the risk of some people forgetting you. That's another one, which is automatic spam button, and then, oh darn, I do remember them.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So yeah, it's hard to explain, and I know it sounds gray. It's just because some of it is gray. Remember, Gmail tells us this stuff, but they don't tell us everything. So it's a whole lot of guesswork all the time. Comes down to experience and trial and error.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm looking at click rates, and I'm looking at revenue, average revenue per email, and if those stay consistent or increasing, I'm doing okay. So ain't things I'm looking at.
Get it? That's why they hired nerds like me and him.
Right.
I don't want to think about this crap. Just make sure money goes in.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, Chuck.
I gotta give love to Chuck. Like a lot of this stuff I learned from him early on, whether he knows or not. I'm in the flower game, so definitely want to give you flowers. You've been around, OG forever.
Hey, age jokes. It's true. It's true.
Hey, before I had great.
Hey, wow. What's with the hate? No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Thank you.
Oh,
that's awesome.
A lot of stuff.
I appreciate that, man.
I remember sitting on a call on we used to do like these Friday night calls or something. I don't know where, and man, learned a lot from you on those calls for sure.
Thanks, man. That was great. And I missed that stuff too. It was really fun. But we had it so much easier then.
Right?
This is hard. We actually got to work at it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I apologize, folks. I'm looking down at my computer. This is like a real studio. This isn't like, some like AI junk. I set this stuff up, and I don't have my monitor up yet. But yeah, I'm looking at you. I promise.
Cool. Yeah, I can see it. By the way, it looks beautiful back there. All I was thinking the whole time is obviously I got to work on my lighting because his setup is beautiful.
Yeah. But if you look like right into the camera, like I'm doing now, it'll appear like wherever the camera lens is,
Yeah,
it'll appear
I
like
just
you're
gotta
talking
pull
directly.
this up.
Yep. There you
But
go.
I have a monitor to go here. I just haven't put it up yet.
You're just not looking
No,
up.
because
Bro.
my
Like look
AI
straight ahead and you'll be looking.
It's-
Okay, there you go.
my
I
AI.
said it first.
This
This is where we're going.
yes. But yeah,
Nerds.
yeah.
No.
So Bob had a reply here. He said he has an email scraper that he uses to pull from web pages to get business addresses. Yeah, you're playing a different game than we're talking
Yeah.
about.
Cold email.
I mean, that's cool. I mean, there's definitely I mean it works. But you gotta that's a whole nother ball game.
Yeah.
Um,
Total destruction of a sending domain. Make sure you use a cold email service.
It's all right.
a cold
If
platform.
that's what you know you're doing, you know?
That's it.
That's it. Yeah.
but I mean, you probably could send those from like a Gmail or something if you're just doing one at a time. Or you're saying you're sending broadcasts to all those cold emails?
If so, then you definitely want to use a cold email service.
Yeah,
Yeah,
cold email
I mean, for
service.
sure. You gotta. I mean, you're talking about warming up domains before you even send the first email. You know,
Yep.
if you're not doing any of that stuff, then you know.
Is Carson asks you guys, do you have any recommendations for where to learn more of this technical email stuff? Any courses that you recommend?
Listen, here's the deal. Just because I've been in it so long, and I have the relationships in the space, like an email course is just like an AI course these days. What you learn today, tomorrow is going to be completely different. So I would say make the relationships, get out in the spaces, events, or stay at home like Ron does, and pick up the phone and call me. Like Ron said, literally send a message, "Hey man, I need to talk about this email stuff." And here we are talking about this email stuff, right? Getting them straight. So just find the people in the space and reach out. You know, none of the spammy Facebook Messenger stuff, but just be cool about it, man. And like everybody that I know, like Chuck, Ron, like everybody is like super cool. So just ask the questions, make the relationships, reach out to people, and that's the best way. I did buy a course. I bought a course the other day, from my friend Molly Mahoney, and but that's about. I call people instead of like if I need to know something, I call them.
Total
All right.
backup. I can't think of a course that would help.
Yeah,
You gotta know, talk to people, ask. Get in groups.
yeah.
You ask the AI.
Outdated. Outdated.
Yeah. Yep.
All
Love
right, so
it.
I guess we're gonna wrap it up here. Thank you guys for coming on. Thanks, Damien and Chuck for chiming in. I appreciate you guys. These guys are the email experts, so like next level email experts, and it's an honor to have them joining us because they are like some of the go-to guys in the industry. So you guys were in a good company here. So the next webinar con is actually going to be Veterans Day in November 10th through the 13th. So save the date, add that to your calendar. It's going to be at the same place it was last year, the Ritz-Carlton, Orlando. And yep, hopefully I'll see you guys there at that event. So we'll keep you posted. We just, every time we have something important to share or something, a good topic, something you guys need to know, we'll come on and do these Zooms just to keep adding value to the community. And appreciate you guys coming on, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thanks, guys. I'll send out this.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Take care.